Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amina and today we are going to be doing my top 5 favorite books of this year. I really wanted to challenge myself this year to read as many books as possible. I've always been a bookworm. I moved over to more so audiobooks, but I still do have hardcover books. And so I really just wanted to elevate my intelligence and my knowledge, and I feel like if you're not reading, you're not getting smarter. You're not learning anything new. These books that I chose to share with you guys, I feel like can help anyone in any part of their life. Most of the books that I've been reading this year have been geared towards personal development or emotional intelligence, or some of them have been spiritual books, creating good habits. I'm just going to be reading a summary of the book and then some of the key points that I wrote down as I was reading. So the first book that we are going to be reviewing is The Power of Habit. This book was written by Charles Duhigg. I think that's how you say his name. Charles Duhigg. It is a book about habits and how you can change your habits. It's about the science behind it, and it's also business related. In the book, it does speak heavy on psychology and how human cues and rewards do make up your habit, and how craving different rewards also drives habit. You feel like your teeth is clean once the toothpaste foams up and you feel that tingle sensation, and the reward is clean teeth. So that's kind of an example. To change a habit, you do have to keep the cue, but you have to change your routine, because the routine that you have does create habits that you do throughout the day. So if you have a habit of, I can use me for example, waking up in the morning, I let my dog out, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back to sleep. I'm gonna go back in that bed, go to sleep for a few more hours, and that's a bad habit. Like, once you're up, just be up. You got stuff to do. But you know, I'm working on being a better morning person. So that is a habit. And so to change the habit, I have to change the reward. I have to make sure that I have a reward for myself so that I don't go back to sleep after I woke up. Okay. And so it also speaks on keystone habits. And so a keystone habit is a chain reaction that occurs when you change one habit. Basically, whatever the habit is, if you change it, then it does change other habits that you do have, because it is connected to that one keystone habit. Good habits to have is willpower and success. So to have the willpower to keep your mouth shut when someone's talking to you crazy is willpower. I have mastered that this year, because Lord knows I can really get on that. Also, regulating your emotions, emotional intelligence. That's also a book I read this year, but it's not on the list. I'll probably do that for a different list. And the book also just speaks on anticipating moments and planning out solutions ahead of time. That was pretty much the sum or key tips that I got from that book. I really did enjoy the book. It was speaking on different stories, and it was pretty heavy on psychology, pretty heavy on the science of habits, and how if you change your habits, if you develop good habits, then you can better your business, you can better your life. So if that's kind of what you're into, I would put it into psychology, personal development, and it's also considered business, so that is a good read. So the next book is an audiobook that I listened to, and it is How to Talk to Anyone, and it's 92 Little Tricks for Big Success in Relationships. I don't have a problem talking to people. I am a person that has very meaningful, close-knit relationships. So I don't just talk to strangers. I don't just be thinking about, I could be in a room and it'd be somebody standing next to me. They feel like it's awkward because we're not speaking, and the whole time I'm not even thinking about them. They're not in my peripheral. But I do know that this book did speak on how successful people navigate in relationships, and how successful people do have a different type of communication than just the average person. And so here were the few tips that I picked up, or that I jotted down from reading that book. This book spoke on small talk, and I'm a person if I don't know you, like, what are we talking about? Why are we talking about the weather? Like, what are we really talking about here? And so the book spoke on how small talk is unoriginal conversation. And I'm like, this is why I don't like small talk. Like, I wasn't a person that didn't like small talk. And it's because it's unoriginal. It's because it's not deep, it's meaningless. Like, what are we talking about right now? So I also spoke on having a benefit statement. So basically, when you are kind of introducing yourself or telling someone what you do for work, so if I use the example of, instead of telling someone that you're a hairstylist, you can tell them that you help women find hairstyles that frame their face. And that's just an example of having a benefit statement. It does bring the benefit to what you do instead of just having a blanket statement. How to rephrase certain things. So some things sound rude. So if you just ask somebody, what do you do? That's a little rude to some people. Like, you didn't say hello, you just asked me what I do. And some people don't like to speak on the money that they make. Some people don't like to speak on, you know, it's just a rude thing to say, especially if you are introducing yourself or you don't know that person and then they just like, what do you do? It's like, instead of saying, what do you do? You can say, how do you spend your time? That is a much better way of reframing the things so that, and it gives a person more to elaborate on. If you say, what do you spend, like, how do you spend your time? They could talk about their hobbies, they could talk about their job. Instead of just being like, what do you do? It's kind of just like, well, what do you mean? What do I do? And it also just spoke on reading different people's body languages, how to kind of tell if people are lying, and also just making sure that you're showing interest in certain people. And there's different cues and body languages that you can do to show that. So that was pretty much the few little tips that I got from that audiobook, and those are a few things I thought was helpful. So the next book that we are going to review it was really short. I listened to it. It was an audiobook, and it was called The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins, I believe. Yes, Mel Robbins. And she is like a motivational speaker. She's done different like TED Talks and videos on YouTube. And so she's a lady, I don't know if you've heard that quote where it's like, no one's gonna save you. She is like, that video goes around a lot. Really short audiobook. And so basically it was about a concept when you don't feel like doing something, or for example, when you wake up in the morning and you don't feel like getting up, you count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and after 1, you just make yourself get up. It's basically after you count from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're just kind of resetting your brain, and you don't really have time to like complain or to think like, oh, I don't want to do this. Some of the key notes that I did jot down from the book was that success is a numbers game. So the more work that you put out is the higher that you will be successful. It's kind of just like with sales. The more people that you approach, the more people that you call, is the highest probability that you will make a sale. And the last kind of note that I wrote down, I didn't really write down too many notes because I kind of knew what she was talking about, to separate your feelings from your actions, because sometimes you're not going to always feel like doing something, but you still have to do that action. It's just like basically what discipline is. And so it was just a reminder, like, yeah, I need to separate this from this. Like, yeah, I don't feel like doing this, but I gotta do it, so let me just do it. The next book that we're gonna get into is called Your Next 5 Moves, Mastering Business Strategy. Is that right? Master the Art of Business Strategy. Basically, this is a book on business and entrepreneurship. It does break the book down to 5 different steps. First is learn yourself and your desires. And then it's also problem solving. Third is have a top-notch team. The fourth, have healthy business growth. And then the fifth, position yourself as a leader. We spoke on you need to find the correlation of leadership and the mentality that you need to have to be successful at leadership and being strategic. Talk about different design systems that can help with problem solving and also having a healthy business. So it did speak on that structure and kind of try to have a better design system for your business. I wrote down the term Grandmaster that stood out to me. So basically the definition of Grandmaster is having a strategic plan for your next actions that demonstrates deep foresight and careful consideration. It also kind of compares a grandmaster to a chess term. So if you do play chess, that is a strategic game. So I guess that's a correlation between that as well. The last term that kind of stood out to me was a trifecta mentor. And so basically it's someone that is well-rounded in 3 different areas, and it is expert guidance, proactive approach to things, and strategic thinking. And so it's basically when you are looking for a mentor, then you do kind of want to look for one that is a trifecta. That's the correct term, trifecta in those terms. It's basically someone that's just well-rounded, that has the experience, but that also a grandmaster in that subject as well. And the last book that I read, I was seeing this all over YouTube, and it was The 12-Week Year. It was an audiobook that I listened to, and so it basically speaks on how to achieve goals quicker throughout the year in 12-week cycles, and it also breaks the year down into different quarterly cycles, so like Q1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, but then within all those quarters there are 12-week cycles, and it just kind of breaks down specifically the goal and how you are going to achieve that goal in 12 weeks so that you can kind of get more done throughout the year. It's also good for goal setting, prioritizing things that are important, really focuses on execution. I do believe that it spoke on having different rewards for stuff like that as well. So if you speak on it or think about it as in a psychology sense, then when you have a cue, you have a reward. So that kind of uses the same type of psychology principle, but it is more strategic planners that they have online as well. So if you are interested in kind of like goal setting, self-improvement, and you are the type of person that needs to write down things to get things done, or need to have a certain plan, or need things that you are looking at specifically to get things done, then I feel like that is a great book. And it also breaks down the year really well, so it did change my perspective on the amount of things that you can accomplish throughout the year. And so that's basically it. Those were the key takeaways that I took away from those books. In the short summary, those were 5 books that I wanted to share this year. I did read more than 5 books, so if y'all did like this video and y'all want to you want me to make another video on other books that I read this year, then leave a comment, like this video if this video was helpful, and I will talk to y'all next time. Bye y'all.